Good day and welcome to the channel. In this short video, we're going to explore the world of action cams, specifically GoPro type cameras, but we're looking for a cheapie. So my backstory is I was about to do a pretty adventurous ride, which is the Goat Creek Trail between Canmore, Alberta and Banff, Alberta. It goes behind the mountains. It's isolated, 20 kilometers long, 14 miles. It's a serious ride. And parts of it, in fact, most of it is very rough as far as a proper trail goes. I'm no serious mountain biker. I'm just a guy with a hybrid bike. I do a lot, like hundreds of kilometers a week of in-city sort of path, hard-packed gravel stuff. So this is pretty adventurous for me, and my girlfriend wasn't sure she could do it. So I wanted to get some sort of a camera that I could show her what the trail was like rather than just taking stills. And what I was amazed at was this little camera that I found, this iZeeker. Now, I know what you're thinking. Guy's been paid for it. It's not legit. I'm telling you, I haven't been paid a penny. I'd never even heard of iZeeker before I bought this product. And the most amazing thing about this is that it came in at 50 bucks. So if you find this video useful at all, big thumbs up would be super appreciated. Really helps with the Google algorithms. So again, the point here was to find a cheapie, but one that has image stabilization. So I got this camera, you can see stuff recording in the background, and what you don't know is that the mount for this was crap. I didn't mount it properly. Not because I didn't want to, but because the mount that it came with, one of the advantages to this iZeeker ia200 camera is it comes with a mounting kit, but I couldn't get it to stick on my helmet, which is where you get most of the stabilization from because you're bouncing all over the place on your bike, right? But your helmet, you're keeping it pretty steady. And I couldn't do that. It just wouldn't stick. I bought a separate kit for $12 Canadian, so $9 US on Amazon. And I'm gonna put up a table of other products that I looked at, which included an Apex 4K and a Caso EK7000, a Caso Brave 4, Brave 4 Pro, and I looked at a pile of other cameras, but these are the ones I got it down to. What I was really looking for was something with decent real world battery life. And this iZeeker came with 2 batteries, which is awesome. In real world use, even at 4K, you're gonna get about an hour out of each battery. More than enough for most people. And if you run at 1080, you're going to get about double that. But the number one thing I needed was image stabilization. EIS, Electronic Image Stabilization. If the camera doesn't have it, don't waste your time. And there are big differences between the image stabilization available on some cameras versus other cameras. I'll show you the mount here, and you can see that I mounted this thing using some washers that I had. I had to mount it to my handlebars, which is a terrible place if you're mountain biking to mount a camera. It's all over the place. And when I finished this ride, I talked with my girlfriend and I said, because she had gone a different way, and I had said, there's no way this thing is going to have picked up anything. It was, and I'm not exaggerating, it was rattling like this the whole time, well, almost the whole time. I have no idea how it got the quality of images that it did. Are they the best quality? Hell no. Are they awesome? Yeah, they do exactly what I want. They clearly show what I did and what the path is like for my girlfriend. Probably the most impressive thing about this whole conversation is that the camera came in at $50 Canadian, about 35 US. I was blown away that I could get a 4K camera running at 30 frames a second with electronic image stabilization for anything less than about 125 bucks that wasn't complete garbage. And you can see this wasn't even on sale. That's the price of it.
Before we unbox this, set it up, and give it a test, let's explain how we settled on this. The number one thing we were looking for in a decent helmet cam or handlebar cam, whatever you want to call it, for skiing or mountain biking or any sort of physical activity, is image stabilization. And a whole pile of the cheapies either don't have image stabilization or have terrible stabilization. So we watched a bunch of videos of other people testing cameras, and we also read a bunch of reviews, and then we looked at the specs. And the
iZeeker
ia200 checked all of the boxes. It's a 4K cam at 30 frames a second. Would it be better at 60 frames? Sure it would. But we were able to source that camera from Amazon for $50 Canadian. about 35 US. So we're going to put up with 30 frames a second. And that is at 4K. If we drop it down, we can get a higher frame rate. So if we run it at 1080, we'll, in addition to getting a better battery life, we'll also get that 60 frame per second that most people want. It has a 24 megapixel lens. Now, lens numbers are pretty much made up these days. So never buy one that's 22 over one that's 20, because it's really the quality of the lens that matters, not just some CCD number. The iZeeker ia200 also has 2 screens, so you can see what the heck it's doing if it's, say, on your handlebars or somewhere. It's also a touch screen, which is nice. And then, of course, the whole slew of little things like being completely waterproof. Well, they say they are, but the cameras aren't waterproof. They come with a waterproof case, which I don't care about because I'm not going to be using it in the water, but you might be. So this is one of the big reasons to buy the Zeeker, the accessory kit. Helmet mounts, there's bike handlebar mounts, rotating mounts, long mount, whatever. There's also a remote control. And one of the companies that we were looking at, I can't recall which one, it came with a battery, but didn't come with a charger for it. Well, that's kind of annoying. So this comes with 2 batteries and a charger, along with the appropriate cables to make it work. Camera itself just pops out of this waterproof kit.
Okay, so I mentioned in the unboxing that there was a little remote you could use, and it works just fine, but we just press the button on the camera, and as you can see here, we're putting up little screenshots of the app. You can also just run it through the app. It's not very hard to do. It's a SuperCam Pro app. So what do we really think of the iZeeker ia200? We love it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I fully understand, and you should fully understand, that this is not a $400 GoPro camera. But at $50 Canadian, now with all the tariff stuff in the US, it's probably going to cost about 100 and something in the US, but it should cost about $35. And even at 100 and something, I'm still pretty happy with it. I spent a lot of time doing research, trying to figure out which camera would do the job that I wanted, which was pretty rough mountain biking. And now that I've got a proper mount coming in for it, for my helmet, I think I'm set. So what's wrong with the iZeeker ia200? I think pretty much just the mount kit. It was fine for most people, but it's not fine for my application. However, I was, speaking of fine to spend an extra, $10-ish on a separate mount kit that was generic and would work with pretty much any of these action cams. It also feels pretty cheap, but you want a very lightweight camera. And I think you saw that camera getting bounced around on that rough trail, knowing that I didn't quite have it screwed down tight. And you could hear it jingling the whole way. You could hear those washers smacking back and forth. So that was an hour and a bit going down the really rough trail, and then an hour and a half coming back the smooth trail, because I had to go through Banff and then down the highway and then into Canmore, blah, blah, blah. And the camera held up. I'm surprised the thing didn't shake to bits and just break. So I love the iZeeker ia200, and I'm keeping it. And I know that all sounds like sort of irrational exuberance, but I really do like it, and once again, have not been paid in any way for this. Amazon didn't give us anything. iZeeker didn't give us a camera. They didn't give us any money. There's no back deal here, as there is on so many reviews. This was a genuine purchase. So if you found this video useful, big thumbs up would be super appreciated. Subscribes also appreciated. It really helps with the Google algorithms. If you have any questions or concerns, you can get a hold of us directly at www.urtech, that's www.urtech.ca, or you can leave a question or a comment below, and if we don't get back to you, somebody else will, because on YouTube, everybody's got an opinion. Thanks, and have a good one. Bye.